defense is a high-intensity exercise. There's no defensive alignment, call, coverage, front that works without playing with a very high sense of urgency. And so it's our responsibility as coaches to bring that high sense of urgency every day, and that's hard. That's a challenge. It's August. It's very hot outside. The human nature is always saying, pull back. Let's take it easy, and we got to drive through these days because our opponents are driving through these days. So that's our responsibility as coaches to set the tempo and the tone every day.
How do you think you can make this offense better, bringing what you bring to the defense just every day in practice, going up against them?
Well, what I see right now, it's been really encouraging the first week of practice is both sides are really presenting a lot of good questions for one another. Both sides are throwing a lot of good looks, things that really make you have to know the rules of your defense and or the rules of your offense. So right now, good teams is always a situation of iron sharpening iron. And that's what I see so far through the first week of practice. We're both really helping each other get better.
Coach, your position group, as well as being defensive coordinator, of course, is linebacker. How do you feel like the depth at your linebacker core is right now?
Well, one of the things that I was taught by my mentors is that you're defined on defense not by your first 11, but by your second 11. And that's really never been more true than today because of the tempo offenses and the needing of having to have quality depth, especially in your front seven, because those are the guys that get the most tired. So in the linebacker room, I'm really looking for 6 that I can play without much drop-off. We do have the value of having some older guys in our first 2 lines. And so what I've been able to do is sort of interchange them. I'm trying to get them all the feeling. What's funny, on game day, when you have practice, you have 1s, 2s, and 3s. On game day, anybody that steps across the line is a 1. So I've been able to, in the first week, okay, a guy that's a 2 on the depth chart, give him a couple steps with the 1s, give this other guy a couple snaps with the 1s, and get those guys experience of that, hey, look, when you go in there is no drop-off expected.
When you look at a guy that's been in the program a while, like Bo Feet, what have you seen from Bo that maybe that he's improved, maybe even just this fall? Yeah,
Bo is a guy that has really good athleticism, and Bo is a guy that is just a really good football player on chaos plays, special teams. Why he's been a really good special teams player. Just the idea that there's a ball, there's a bunch of bodies around, and having a good natural angle and a good tackler in space. Bo excels at all those type things. He's got good speed. What he's had to learn is his instincts as a linebacker in terms of just seeing his key and understanding, go right, go left, 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle, just in terms of how to attack the line of scrimmage. That is probably the biggest improvement I've seen from Bo from spring to fall. He's starting to see the game better and understand where to go better. You can have guys in this game that can run 4.8 on the clock, but they can play linebacker at 4.6. And you can have guys that can play 4.6 and play the game at 5.2. I call it your download speed. How long from your eyes see it does it download to your feet to get you going? And Bo's download speed is increasing.
How would you assess your secondary right now, given what they have brought back from last season? Just your impressions just coming in.
Well, we do have some guys back there that are good to work with. They want to learn. They want to be pushed to be great. We do have some guys that have had some experience and have had some success in college football games. But at the same time, we know that we're not anywhere near where we need to be to really be what our expectation of our defense is. And the guys in secondary know that. We have to really improve our discipline in terms of our eyes, our coverage fundamentals and techniques. So we like the guys we have to work with, but we still have a long way to go to get to where we want to be.
Going back to the linebackers, you got at least 3 new faces as far as freshmen, scholarship players. How have they matured in the first 5 days or 6 days of practice?
Yeah, what's neat with those guys is that you always want the first week, you want them to put something on tape to show that they belong. Because they're swimming right now. They're swimming just with the tempo of the practice, tempo of the plays, word-changing calls. Like I said, our offense is very dynamic in terms of what they're presenting at us, and it's like drinking through a fire hose right now for them. But every one of those guys so far this week has put on a good physical play. They've whether it's an interception, whether it's just a really nice tackle in open space, they've done something so that we can tell them, this is why you're here. Trust us. You're going to learn. You've been through it. You're going to hit the wall at some point during this camp. Just fight through it, and good things lie ahead.
To look specifically at 3 of those guys, Solomon and Russell Ferris and Quante, what are 3 things that really stand out about each one of those guys?
Well, Russell instinctively as a football player would be his greatest strength right now. He sees the game really well. He's very tough at the point of attack. He's got a lot of power and explosion in his body. Solomon, you see, Solomon just moved to linebacker late in his career in high school, so you can see a little bit of that. You see a little bit of the rawness in him, but you can see some physical skills that are really exciting. And a guy that what you want to build this program on, a guy that you can develop in our program for 4 years, and you just think about a pretty scary future when you can have those guys in their third and fourth year in this program. And then Q Moore brings he has a lot of strengths, but I would say his greatest one, he has an intangible about him where he's just a natural born leader. He likes being in front of the room. He likes, and that as a Mike backer, which is where he's playing right now, he's got to make all the calls. He's got to set the front, and he has to get guys that are maybe 2 years older than him to listen to what he's got to say, and he's very comfortable doing that.
Is there an added sense of urgency with the defense this year, given who you guys start the schedule off against?
There's no question. There's no doubt. They get reminded every day that we're now that we're 3 weeks from today from being in Norman, Oklahoma. So it is a great challenge. It could be one of the top offenses in the country, and we know that. And even past Oklahoma with the two teams we play following them, our first three all on the road against bowl opponents. We can't lose a day, and that's a standard that we're practicing at. If there's ever a rep in an individual drill where we slack off, that is the instant reminder to them that what's facing us here in 21 days' time. So it's one of the good things about opening with an opponent like that. It gets their attention pretty quickly.